All right, so if you watched the last video, you saw that using the, let me rotate my phone here so the camera's up there. Okay, yeah, using the S20 Ultra sucks compared to the Fold, as far as doing PvP is concerned. So unless maybe they just did a secret debuff to DK, but I mean, he does normally go down fast. That's why his gear set's called Kamikaze DK. But like, the screen wasn't registering any touches at all. It was obnoxious. So, okay, just making sure that. I mean, I did the load on my PvP, so it should have been fine. Hold on a second. Okay, so it looks like everyone is good here. Oh, Juno. Okay. Let's do this again. And hopefully, I wasn't aware of them doing anything as far as changing DK. Like I said, he normally goes down really quick, or Cold Drain maybe just did something with his team. I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, yeah, see, well, maybe not. Oh, that's better. Still feels better. I'm going to turn this up a little bit so I can hear. Of course, that was just a computer, so that doesn't really count. Oh no, my win rate went down. Okay, here we go. Cold Rain again. Here we go. Here we go. So let's see. Maybe he just did something, but normally I have no issues with his team. Now I will say I put some penetration runes on DK instead of attack on his unique weapon. So I'm kind of testing that. So maybe that has something to do with it as well. We'll see. It's registering touch at least. Yeah, there we go. That's the way it normally is. Gracious. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it just wasn't registering touch. So again, I have to emphasize what you use to play PvP does make a difference for certain. Okay, so this is now that time in the week where I may actually have to take Pansy out of the team because the computers now have less whatevers than me, and I lose a ton more points when I lose to a computer. And unfortunately, some of these silence teams end up being really difficult to beat if I don't have a silencer myself from the computers. So I actually end up transitioning away from Pansy and over to a silencer, in my case Cass. I've tried Leo. I just don't like Leo. I like Cass more. And using the silencer myself so that way I have a better chance of winning, because I'll lose less points to humans than I will to computers if I lose to humans. So now here we go, another silencer. I can't beat this guy unless I bond his Leo. It's almost impossible, and he instas with his Pavel nuke. So if I'm lucky and I'm able to bond his Leo, then I've got it. Unless he's running a bond and bonds. But we'll see. Oh, and then Pavel gets him anyway, so it doesn't matter. So I wasn't able to bring everybody down with the shot. So I think I need to go and put those attack runes back onto DK, because when I did my first set of 10 runs this morning, I actually lost to Koala, which is like the first time in a while. So I don't think running penetration. One of the people that was watching my videos earlier commented and said, "Why don't you have any penetration on DK?" And I explained that I just don't need it. Yeah, he doesn't have any pen on that first swipe, but oh no, he's not on the penetration runes. So what the heck is going on? Because normally if I was able to bond his Leo, which I did, I beat Gwen. So maybe he's just changed his comp. We'll try running him again with these penetration runes. Let me make sure that everyone else is right here. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Maybe penetration is key to beating Gwen. I don't know. So, because he doesn't have any penetration until Frey fires a skill, which he fires his S1 before Frey fires a skill. So he does not have anything other than his 150 pen. So there's that responsiveness I like. Okay. Hopefully Gwen comes back on and we can bond Leo again. Or this Leo too. That'll work. Zegetsu's got a great team here. That Maria is tough as nails. So let's see what happens. I think I'm going to run a triple bond here and see if maybe that would alleviate the need to use Cass and increase my win rate against people with these silencers. Yeah. So classic. I'm going to take the Spirit Morph off of Pansy too for right now because I'd rather just die faster. It's not like if everyone else is already dead, there's no sense in just making my opponent wait for Pansy to get killed. I'd rather just have more initial damage with Pansy in the event that she actually does fire off her nuke. So I'll probably just put her on a crystal music box or something. I'll be susceptible to divers like Epis and Mirianne and stuff, but it is what it is. I think it's that time of the week where I'm going to just have to switch back over to Cass. So, nope, that's Juno's special dessert. Where is my crystal music box? You've probably already seen it and are like, Iceman, it's right there. Oh, there it is. Looks so similar to Juno's special dessert. Damn it. Did I at least unequip it? There we go. Okay. We'll try a few more runs, and if I just keep seeing these silencers, I'm going to have to switch over to Cass. Unfortunately, that's just something that has to be done. If my opponents are predominantly silencers, and now that the computers have a lot more silencers as well, it's just one of those things I need to do, and just hope that DK can dish what's needed to finish him off. So, clear that shield, thank you. Whew. It'd be nice if some humans would come on. If I lose to, well, what do I want to say is my threshold? If I face and lose to 2 more silencers in these next 10 runs, that'll be my mark to switch to Cass. Actually, normally I switch to Cass on Wednesday evening. So it's kind of funky that I'm running Pansy on a Thursday, but I haven't been facing as many silencers as I typically do. So, but today I'm starting to face a lot of them. So it would actually make sense at this point to potentially go back to Cass. Here we go. This is another team that if I don't bond Cass, that's Scarlet Nuke. And now, of course, I'm vulnerable to Epis as well. So hopefully got silenced. Let's try to get a heal up. All right, good. Able to cleanse the silence and fire off that nuke from Pansy. So that is good. I don't seem to be having any problems now with the computers, but That's just RNG, I think, because of my bonds. Well, here's another silencer from a computer. And I've lost to this team as well. So if I lose to this and one more, I think it's just going to be time to go over to Cass. Alright, so I've seemed to have been able to have resolved the computer silences. I put Juno on like, I think she's on like 700 MP recovery per second or something. So, and here's another silencer from a computer, and this team's beaten me as well. But maybe that rapid cleanse from Juno is enabling me to beat these computers, and I can keep Pansy in the mix. Alright, so I think getting Juno's MP recovery per second up has taken care of not being able to beat the computer silencers, fortunately. But the human silencers I'm going to still definitely have a lot of trouble with, or the ones with bonds, or the ones with radiance. I'm going to definitely have trouble with them. But I will still win against humans more with Pansy on the team than I will with Cass. So that's just the reality of it. Come on, get that shield off of there. Jeez. I mean, the main reason I use Pans is for Clive, Rah D, Koala, Tri-Starch, and Tri-Starch is probably my toughest opponent. I have more trouble with him than almost anybody. Rascal is another one I have a lot of trouble with because of his Gladdy. This is another computer team I've lost to. You can see, like, if I don't have Cass, I get a ton of silencers from the computer bots. So jeez, come on, no mana. That wreck is nasty. Whew. Aquina is so good in PvP. Like, she is basically a ranged DK. Only hers is indispellable. She doesn't hit as hard as DK. Well, she could, I guess, if you... nah, probably not. But she is still amazing in PvP. So, if you have a good rec, and she's great in Shack, she's great in Xanadus. So... hold on. All right, here we go. So yeah, don't seem to be facing a whole lot of humans. So clearly, this isn't going to really be that great of an evaluation as far as whether or not I want to go to Cass or not. The funny thing is, Cass allows me to beat a different set of human opponents, but the ones I want to beat, it doesn't allow me to beat. Like, it doesn't allow me to beat Rah or Koala or Clive. Like, they're the ones that I usually let ride above me. That way I get more points for beating them, and then it doesn't force them into a bunch of recharges that I then have to do recharges. It's like when one person starts to recharge, then it starts to make everyone else start to recharge when you're the recharger at the top. So I try not to stay above. Like, I'll just surge to first place like I have the last several weeks on Sunday evening. I'll just do a big push on Sunday evening and recharge then. That way, they're not going to have a chance to respond. I still get the 2,200 rubies, and I'm not forcing them into a bunch of recharges that then forces me to do a bunch of recharges. So, I mean, Clive and are still, Clive and Koala are still recharging against one another, but Rah has cut back. And I have cut back. I used to do a lot more recharges than I do now. So that's why I want to have Pansy on my team, because she's what enables me to beat them, and I get a bunch more points when I beat them above me. Now, Aquuso, I have like a 50% win rate, and it's because I have two bonds, so it's a 50% chance that I bond his Leo. If I don't bond his Leo, then I'm screwed. And his rec and DK is just like no mana for you. So if DK doesn't, he's obviously not affected from the mana thing. But if DK doesn't do what he needs to do and get rid of them, then I'm screwed. So I have a very low win rate against this guy. And I got silenced, and I don't have any mana, so I'm dead. So, and that's where having Cass, like I can beat Akuso if I have Cass, but I don't lose as many points to him as I do to computers, which is why I was bringing Cass. So, but I also, see, that's a double-edged sword. I get more points when I beat Clive and Rara and Koala when they're above me, but I don't beat them. But I also don't lose as many points when I lose to them either. Whereas I lose more points to someone like Akwuso. Whoa, what the heck happened there? Jeez. Pavel is so strong. It's nuts. So now that I know that Akwuso is on, though, I'm going to go ahead and throw Cass into the mix. And hopefully cycle with him, and then you can see what I mean about the fact that my silence out-silences his Leo, or at the very least, it will land the silence on his comp so that they can't fire off the stuff that would one-shot me. I mean, he's got a dirty team. He's got 3 DPSs, for Christ's sake. I mean, his Requena is good, his Lilia is amazing, and so is his DK. So we'll drop her for Cass, and I think she's already all geared up. Yeah, she is. Now, I'm going to put her on something different here. I don't need her on a Soul Spring. I am going to put her on Radiance because I'm going to put Evan on Soul Spring because he's running DK. So, in fact, let me go ahead and save this loadout right now. All right. Hopefully he's still on, and we will be able to face him and test this out. All right, so here's a silencer, and he beat me a couple of times this morning when I was using Pansy. I didn't even bother throwing Cass into the mix. I did beat him a couple of times as well. So let's see if me throwing Cass in enables me to beat these silencers, these fellow silencers. Hopefully. And there we go. So that's where me having a silencer is probably good. And honestly, as I'm thinking about this, I would rather lose to Clive. Oh, there, he's still on. I'd rather lose to Clive and Ra and Koala because I'll lose less points than beat them and get more points and then just get closer to their score and then force them into recharges. And I'll definitely beat computers, and I won't lose as many points to players below me. So, that's so nasty, that team. He may actually dethrone Tristarch as my hardest opponent. I'll tell you. I mean, no mana and a silence. It's like, oh. So basically, even with Cass in the mix, see now, like if I were to triple bond, I'm so close to another Velk artifact, and I get 3 bonds, that's going to increase my rate of beating a Kwasu by another 25%. So that will be fantastic. So it's still completely RNG with Akwuso. Even with my Cass. His Leo is that dirty. So, but at least I won't be stressing about computers now. I hate losing to computers. Man, that was so disgustingly hard. How much damage did that do? Wow. Whew. See, now I just want to beat Akuso for the sake of beating him. I only beat him like 50% of the time, and he's already beat me twice. So I'd have to beat him twice to bring my average back up. But my bond is not landing on his Leo for some reason. Either of them. Hopefully this is him, and I bond his Leo and actually beat him. Okay, it's Devilisk. This was a guy that I had about a 50% win rate against as well. But that was with Pansy. With Cass, I never lose against him. So hopefully that stays the same. Unless he ends up bonding my Cass. Jeez. Oh, okay, good. Go figure, he's running a bond. Bond is just the best artifact for PvP, though, honestly. It's RNG, I get it, but hey, it's 25% increase in win rate. That's the way I look at it. If you bond the right hero, 25% of the time, it's going to bond somebody. And in theory, it's going to bond the right one 25% of the time. So it basically is a guaranteed increased win rate. You know? So that's why I recommend it to everyone. So there is a point when it has diminishing returns, even if you run multiple bonds. But now bonds are only good against nukes, which there aren't a ton of nukes in PvP. I mean, I'd say about half of the people up in the top 50 are nukes, and the other half are tanks and debuffers and, you know, chippers. So, you know, it doesn't scale towards everybody, but it is something worthy of mentioning. The other thing is, now that he's running a bond, which I don't believe he was running a bond when I faced him this morning, if he bonds DK, I'm going to have a lot of trouble as well. So, yeah. So he bond DK. If I can heal him back up, nope. So now I don't have anything. So there you have it. That is the power of the bond. And that's a guy I never lose to when I bring Cass. But now that he's using bond, you know, my win rate against him just went down 25%. Okay, and here's Akuso. Hopefully I can actually bond his Leo and wipe them. Now that I have Otherworldly on as well, if his DK swipes, then that'll knock them all back, and hopefully DK can withstand the hits from Lilia and his fellow DK. But the big thing here is that I bond Leo, and I only have a 50% chance of that. So, and I didn't, so I have no mana and will lose. So that's 3 times in a row that I was unable to bond his Leo. And unfortunately, I don't really have a counter to that other than just putting CC resist on everybody so that I can resist his Leo. But the problem is his UT3 reduces your CC resistance. So even if you're running 1000% CC resist, it still has a 25% chance of hitting you. So I've just kind of determined it's not worth putting CC resist on my entire team, because Leo's silence is just still really good even if you do run CC resistance. So hopefully he doesn't bond. Okay, so he didn't bond Leo, thankfully, so I'm okay. But excuse me, he didn't bond DK there. So that's good. All these frickin' silencer computers, jeez. Well, I think I'm going to call that a video. I didn't get up as high as I'd like, but the competition I'm up against right now, I mean, learn from it, because at the end of the day, you know, that's what is going to be a hard counter to my team, and to most nuke teams. So that's where you run into a lot of issues, is nuke teams like me, then bringing a silencer, bringing bond, bringing otherworldly radiance if they're using DK, or any other one that does a dispel upon hit, is a really great way to counter nukes. Now, if you're playing against debuffers, then you want to be running, if that's where you have a lot of trouble, then you want to bring your CC resistance. You want to, if you're trying to apply debuffs to them, then you want to bring debuff ACC, which is going to counter CC resistance if they happen to be running CC resistance as well. But basically, just as a reminder of what debuff ACC and CC resist and CC accuracy and ACC all do, because I do get that question quite a bit. ACC in its pure form, just straight up the ACC stat, is to hit enemies that have dodge. So that's accuracy, and it's going to increase your chance of hitting enemies with dodge. CC ACC is the same thing, only it's for CC skills. So it's going to enable you to hit enemies with CC skills that have dodge. Debuff ACC does not counter dodge, it counters CC resist. So that is where the use of the term debuff ACC is a little bit funky, because it actually has nothing to do with dodge. It has everything to do with debuff accuracy. So that's why they use the term accuracy, but dodge isn't a component. It's basically just accuracy for your debuff, which silent is classified as a debuff, but it's also classified as CC. So if the ultimate combo comes along and they have high dodge, then you would need to run CC ACC and debuff ACC to hit that opponent with your silence. Okay? And there are several opponents that have that have high CC resistance and high dodge. And you would use debuff ACC and CC ACC, both of those things, to hit those opponents. So that is another thing to be aware of. And then, of course, CC resistance is just a hard cap 1000 resistance to CC movements. Okay? Now, if you have any other questions or trying to get an explanation of what I just got through stating, just ask me in the comment section below. But that's basically what those stats all boil down to. And hopefully that helps you understand what those traits bring. So in Cass's case, I bring the soft cap 900 in debuff ACC to enable me to silence anybody with CC resist. Now, if they have high dodge, then there's a chance I won't land my silence upon them. So my solution then would be to add CC ACC, which is why sometimes I put her on the Judgment Light bracers if I find that I'm facing opponents that have high dodge. So that is the best artifact for just throwing a lot of accuracy onto your debuffers. And I'm going to show it to you real quick, and then I'll stop the video. And a lot of people are like, man, this is an artifact I never use. Actually, it's very useful on your debuffers. So it looks like this, okay? And you see how it has accuracy. So just her base skills will have a higher chance of hitting. And then it has CC accuracy, okay? So that is a tremendous artifact to bring on your debuffers, okay? So hopefully that helps you, and we will talk to you all later. Iceman Alpha Real Time out.